Hello, and welcome back to another video on this channel. Like a month ago, I did a video about how would I judge RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 6. But what if the season had the top 2 format? Some things would for sure change. Let's get into it. So, in the variety show, Ra'Jah O'Hara was in my opinion the best because she showed us something we've never seen before, and it was really cool and engaging. Now, for the second top 2 spot, it was a toss-up between Scarlett Envy and Jan. Both of them did amazing, but I chose Jan to be in the top 2 with Ra'Jah. Originally, Yara won the talent show, but I think we can all agree her performance was the definition of safe. As for the bottoms, originally Silky Nutmeg Ganache was low, which was weird because her performance was really cool, and I don't know if you remember, but Ginger Minch said during Untucked she thinks Silky is going to win this challenge. Was it a winning-worthy performance?
No.
But it definitely wasn't low-worthy. The queen who should have been low in my opinion is Ginger. Her performance was cute, but other queens just did better. The bottom 2 of Trinity and Serena was pretty obvious. Trinity absolutely flopped, and Serena was not that bad, but not good enough to escape the bottom 2. So, Ra'Jah and Jan have to face off in the lip-sync. The lip-sync song was Uptown Funk. Honestly, I am not sure how they would do, but Ra'Jah O'Hara would probably win. It doesn't really matter though, because both of them would choose Serena Cha-Cha to go home. That means Serena is still going to be the pork chop of the season, and we will be moving on to episode 2, which was the blue ball. Ra'Jah originally won this challenge, which I personally don't agree with. Now, as you can see, she's not even in the top 2. The 2 queens who I think did better than her are Scarlett Envy and Kylie Sonic Love. I think the looks they made in the workroom were better than Ra'Jah's. Especially Scarlett's look was really breathtaking. Their first 2 looks also were strong enough to put them in the top 2, so I did that. A'keria C. Davenport was low, and I do agree with that, so I didn't change it. As for the bottom 2 queens, originally Yara was there, which was strange. She should have been safe, just like in the first episode. Silky's look was a bit all over the place, and her first 2 looks she brought from home also were not so strong, and so I decided to put her in the bottom 2 with Jiggly. Jiggly definitely struggled the most. Sewing is just not her thing, and that's okay. You don't have to know how to sew to be a good drag queen. It was really heartbreaking because she was fighting so hard to stay, even though she saw the writing on the wall because Yara originally was in the bottom with her, and she just won 1 episode before. Here I think it would be very close, because their track record are the same. Kylie and Scarlett are gonna lip-sync to Miss You Much by Janet Jackson. I think it would be close, because both of them are pretty good lip-syncers, but Kylie Sonic Love would probably outperform Scarlett, so I gave her the win here. Both of them would probably choose Jiggly's lipstick because Silky did a bit better in the challenge. That means Jiggly is still gonna go home this episode, and we're gonna move on to episode 3. Definitely the group of Pandora, Ra'Jah, TKB, and Yara did the best. Trinity K. Bonet won the challenge originally, which was correct. The second queen I chose to be in the top with her is Pandora Box. It would be so cool to see Pandora finally win a challenge on Drag Race. She is and will always be an absolute icon. Ra'Jah and Yara are still going to be high, but originally the whole group of Ginger, Jan, A'keria, and Silky ended up in the bottom, which I don't think was necessary. I decided to put only Silky and A'keria in the bottom, Jan low, and Ginger safe. So, the lip-sync song from this episode was Physical by Dua Lipa. It was one of the best lip-syncs from the season. Originally, TKB lost to Laganja, but there's no way she would lose to Pandora in this song. Trinity would definitely take the win, and Silky Nutmeg Ganache is still gonna go home unfortunately. In the episode 4 we had ourselves the Hall of Fame halftime show. The clear top 2 queens in this episode were Jan and Trinity. Both of them killed it. Kylie Sonic Love was also really good as Steven Tyler, so I decided to put her as high. As for the bottoms, this was not Eureka's strongest week. She wasn't giving me Madonna, she was just giving Eureka, but choreography wasn't her choice, so it wouldn't be fair to put her in the bottom 2. Originally, Yara Sofia and Acaria C. Davenport were in the bottom, and I don't know why Acaria was there. Her performance was good, it seemed like they just didn't care about her at this point. The queen who I think deserved to be in the bottom two with Yara was Ginger Minch. She didn't do a bad job, she was just the least good. So now, the things are going to get very interesting. In this scenario, Yara Sofia is the one who has stronger track record. Ginger was low once and Yara was high once. As we saw though, Yara did not even fight to stay as hard as she should have. So, Jan and Trinity have to lip-sync to Womanizer by Britney Spears. Originally, Jan got assassinated by Jessica Wilde. I have no idea what Jan was doing in this lip-sync, but it just didn't work. As long as Trinity keeps her wig and shoes on, she is absolutely taking the win, and in my opinion TKB would choose Yara Sofia to go home. Trinity was in the bottom two in the week one and fought to stay, so I think her mindset would be like, if Yara didn't fight to stay, I'm choosing her to go home. So Yara Sofia is still going to be eliminated in this episode, but as you can see, we have our first disagreement. I'm sure Jan would choose Ginger's lipstick based on the track record, especially because she originally chose Acaria. Let's keep that in mind for later. The next episode was the Pink Table Talks, and the judging this episode was interesting. 3 queens ended up in the bottom. These queens were Scarlet Envy, Jan, and Kylie. Honestly, I don't know why Kylie was there because in my opinion she didn't deserve it at all. If 3 queens had to be in the bottom, it should have been Scarlet, Jan, and Pandora. But in my opinion, only 2 queens should be in danger of going home, so Pandora Box is going to stay low. Ginger Minch won this challenge originally, and yes, she did do a good job, but her teammates dragged her down a bit. The team of Eureka, Acaria, and Trinity did the best overall, so Eureka is definitely taking one of the top 2 spots, since she did great as a leader. The second queen I chose to be there is Acaria, because I just really loved her runway look from that week, and it would be so cool to see her having her moment. The lip-sync song this episode was Phone by Lizzo, and originally Ginger Minch absolutely ate that up and left no crumbs. Let me tell you, this woman is just incredible. Unfortunately, she's not in the top 2 in this scenario. Both Acaria and Eureka are fierce lip-syncers, but I think this song is more in Eureka's wheelhouse. She can give us comedy, and that's a perfect route to take in this type of song. That means Eureka wins, and Jan is going home. I feel like Jan was getting on Eureka's nerves a bit at this point, and Ginger was pretty close with Eureka, so Jan choosing her lipstick last week definitely did not work in her favor. In fact, both Scarlet and Jan have stronger track record than in the original season, because Jan has 2 wins and 1 low, and Scarlet has 1 win and 1 high, I believe. This would probably be the most shocking elimination of the season. We have to say goodbye to Jan, and we will be moving on to the next episode, which was the acting challenge. Originally, Jan was still there, and did such a good job. But in this scenario, we have Scarlet here over Jan. I don't see her doing worse than Eureka, Acaria, or Raja. So, I decided to put her as safe in this episode. Since Jan is already eliminated, we have to move 1 queen up to high, and it's for sure going to be Pandora Box. She did such a good job in this challenge. This was the one and the only challenge Kylie ended up winning in the original season. I know this win was in fact very controversial, but since it's the top 2 format now, she deserves to lip-sync for the win against Ginger, who in my opinion did the best. Acaria definitely did the worst in this episode, but I would agree with Raja or Eureka taking the other bottom 2 spot. Raja was originally there, so I kept it the same. Ginger and Kylie are gonna lip-sync to Dirty by Christina Aguilera featuring Redman, and there's no way Kylie is not winning this lip-sync. She absolutely destroyed it, so she's still going to be the winner of the lip-sync, and Acaria C. Davenport is still going to go home. We have our top 6, and it is time for Show Up Queen. Everyone except for Pandora did really great, and this song is really good and catchy in my opinion. I think Scarlet would do even better than Jan originally did, since she missed the mark a bit, but still did okay. However, since literally everybody did such a great job, I don't think Scarlet would be able to do better, so I decided to put her in the bottom two with Pandora Box. As for the tops, Trinity K. Bonet won the challenge originally, which was obviously correct, since her verse was the best, as well as her runway look. The second top two spot I gave to Raja O'Hara. In my opinion, her verse was second best, and she really deserved it. Ginger, Kylie, and Eureka are gonna be high. The lip-sync song this episode was Dance Again by Jennifer Lopez featuring Pitbull. As we saw, Trinity's wig fell off, and she didn't do the best in this performance, so Raja O'Hara would for sure beat her. It doesn't really change anything because I think both queens would choose Scarlet Envy to go home. This was Pandora's first time being in the bottom two and Scarlet second, and Pandora was really fighting to stay, and I was so happy when she did stay. So, Scarlet Envy is going to finish at 7th place, which is better than 9th, and now it is time for the Snatch Game. Snatch Game of Love is not my favorite format if I'm being honest. I prefer regular Snatch games, but this one was still pretty good. Obviously Ginger and Kylie killed it, so it's not a surprise they are in the top two. Originally, Ginger Minch was the winner. My personal favorite performance was Kylie's, but now it doesn't really matter. Raja O'Hara was also really funny, so she's gonna be high. Eureka also did a good job as Divine. In my opinion, it wasn't as good as Raja's, but good enough to keep her safe and not low. Trinity and Pandora were the clear bottom two. It was really heartbreaking to see Pandora Box flopping Snatch Game, especially because she killed it in her original season. Trinity's attitude this episode was wrong. She was a frontrunner and felt safe, which was good, but she should have been trying harder to succeed, even though comedy is not what she does successfully. The lip-sync song this episode was Sugar Walls by Sheena Easton. I'm sure Kylie Sonic Love would do great, but Ginger Minch also did really amazing when she lip-synced against Heidi. She really knows how to sell the performance. Ginger is still gonna win the lip-sync, and Pandora Box is still gonna go home. At least in this scenario, she won a challenge. Now it is time for the Drag Tots episode. Raja O'Hara won the challenge originally, which was absolutely correct, because she did the best. We can all agree that Trinity K. Bonet also did great and was clearly second, which means her track record is not going to be demolished by the format. The twist called "if you're not in the top, you're in the bottom" really destroyed her chances of winning, but here it is not going to be the case. However, since it's the top two format, I left that twist in, so Kylie, Ginger, and Eureka are all in the bottom. The lip-sync song this episode was Boom Clap by Charlie XCX. This is not a good song to lip-sync to. I have absolutely no idea which one of them would do better, but since Raja did good originally, I decided to give her the win. Eureka is gonna go home either way. It is her first time in the bottom, but she only has one win. Ginger is in the bottom for the second time, but she also has 2 wins, so I'm assuming both Raja and TKB would choose Eureka's lipstick. That means Eureka O'Hara is going home, and we have our top 4. Well, not really. It's time for the game within the game twist. The eliminated queens have the chance to come back to the competition. I really do like this twist because I personally really enjoyed it. Honestly, I think we all did, thanks to Silky. Alright, so the first round was between Serena Cha-Cha and Jiggly. Both of them did do a good job, and honestly any of them could have won, but I agree with Jiggly taking the win. That means Serena Cha-Cha has to sashay away for the second time, and now the Silky's Smackdown begins. Jiggly and Silky lip-synced to Girls Just Wanna Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper, and I did like both of them in this lip-sync. However, I was definitely more entertained by Silky, which means she's moving on to the next round, and Jiggly is sadly eliminated from the game. Yara Sofia enters the game, and the next lip-sync song was Point of No Return. I really do think that every queen did well in the Smackdown, but it was Silky's episode for a reason. She just was really ready to do so. Yara does a pretty good job, but Silky beats her, which means Yara Sofia is sadly eliminated, and the next opponent for Silky is Jan. I did not see Jan perform to this song, so I don't really know how well she would do, but I think Silky Nutmeg Ganache would still snatch the win. Jan is sadly eliminated, and in the next round, Silky had a solo lip sync because Akeria decided not to participate in the Smackdown. I get it and definitely wasn't mad at her. Love you, girl. You will always be a legend. Honestly, guys, nobody, and I mean nobody, could beat Silky Nutmeg Ganache to Barbie Girl. Dare I say this is my favorite lip sync from the franchise? Yep, it is. Barbie vs. Ken is something I didn't know I needed. Thank you, Silky, for blessing us with this performance. You are and will always be a lip sync guru. It's time for the 6th round, and the next opponent for Silky is Scarlet Envy. Can we talk about how gorgeous Scarlet looked in this episode? I mean, she always looks gorgeous, but here in particular. Literally, if I saw her in public and she would slap me in the face, I would say thank you. Anyways, the lip sync song was Heartbreaker. I mean, Silky is still winning, fellas. The guitar she made in a hotel room, like, are you kidding me? She is so creative, and it was really amazing to see her beating one after the other. Scarlet is out, and now it's time for Silky versus Pandora. They lip sync to Focus by Ariana Grande, and Silky is winning the 6th lip sync in a row. She definitely does a better job than Pandora, so it's time for the final round of the Smackdown, the battle between Silky and Eureka. At this point, I really wanted Silky to come back to the competition, but the fact that it didn't happen is probably even better for her career. As we saw, she had some outfit malfunction and ended up losing the lip sync. I agree with that verdict, so that means Eureka is coming back to the competition. But before we move on, I just want to say that Silky Nutmeg Ganache is a true icon. All Stars 6 was, I believe, the 3rd season of Drag Race I have ever watched, and I fell in love with her immediately. I saw her talking about bad fan reception after season 11, so when I finished All Stars, I went to watch season 11, and I literally fell in love with her even more. Silky and Kylie are literally my 2 favorite drag queens in the world, and I am so happy they are both beloved now. Anyway, back to the video. We have one more top 5 episode, the monologues. Eureka originally won, which I think was correct, but since it's the top 2 format now, the second queen in the top is for sure going to be Miss Kylie. Her story was also really touching, and I was invested the whole time. That means in the bottom we have TKB, Raja, and Ginger. The lip sync song was Good Golly Miss Molly, and originally it was a tie between Jada and Eureka, because both of them took totally different approaches and both of them did really good. I think it would also be the case here. Originally, TKB went home this episode. However, in this scenario, I think it would be Ginger, as she has the least wins, and she's in the bottom for the 3rd time, I think. Honestly, this would be even more heartbreaking to me, since Ginger Minch is also one of my favorite queens of all time, and I'm so happy she originally made it to the top 4. Speaking of, we have the top 4 of Eureka, Kylie, Raja, and Trinity, and it is time for the finale. They had to write a verse to the song, This Is Our Country. I really love the song because I'm a huge country fan. Everyone did a great job in that finale, and I'm sure TKB would also do great. I decided not to cut any of them, and it is time for the lip sync for the crown. The winner of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars Season 6 is Kylie. There's no other timeline where Kylie loses the season. She did such a great job, and her recovery in the final lip sync truly was the best moment of the whole lip sync. Congratulations to Kylie's Sonic Love. And what do you think would happen if All Stars 6 had the top 2 format? Let me know in the comments, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.